Anna Kozlova was not a happy woman. Born in a remote village east of the Ural, she had always been convinced that she was meant for a higher purpose, and in her mind, that higher purpose had been to join the society in Moscow. Unfortunately, under Savinkov's dictatorship, nobility wasn't in high regard, but now that the Tsar was back, she had made her way to the capital, convinced that they would be welcoming her with open arms. Miss Kozlova was angry at the fact that this had not come to pass. She had been angry at her employer, who clearly hadn't seen her potential, and at the reality that she had been put to work cleaning. But her luck had turned, and she had caught the eye of the Baroness, who had offered her the opportunity to work for her. The prospect of catching nobility by proximity had been exciting, much more so than cleaning shelves. Anna Kozlova was, at least when not in the presence of the Baroness, angry at her current assignment. Looking down at the overweight man snoring in the luxurious bed, she adjusted her nightgown, produced a little flask of clear liquid from her handbag, and added the contents to the glass of water he would be consuming first thing in the morning. With a last look of disgust, she got dressed and left the premises. Apparently, he'd been the editor of a paper that had recently endorsed the wrong side in a civil war somewhere abroad. It dawned on Anna Kozlova that life in high society and politics was commanded by a set of unwritten rules that she did not understand, but would have to learn quickly if she was to survive. There have recently been endorsements of dubious nature in various populist papers in Russia. The Carlist Spanish faction was supposed to be the one, that the people were requesting to be supported on moral grounds, and the same goes for MacArthur, who had actually risen up against his own government, which is a very strange sentiment under the auspices of the recent experience with Savinkov, but understandable on the general uninformed grounds. So while we are running a press censorship campaign, certain measures have been taken to ensure that the people have a correct understanding of foreign policy. Now, the Russian Empire is a democratic nation, but the Russian Empire also faces many threats in the world, and moral grounds and democratic principles are all good, but when it comes to foreign policy, Realpolitik is what is required. And with that, we are supporting the Pacific States of America in order to get another liberal democracy out in the northern parts of the continent. And we are actually supporting the anarchists in Spain, on the grounds of that while we are very much in disagreement with them in principle, we are very much currently aligned with the French in order to deal with revanchism against the Reichspakt and the old Axis. So for that, we have to do a bit of a dance. And yes, occasionally, people who are not understanding these things will have to be eliminated in interesting ways. Anyway, where are we? So it's been a while. I have, as you might have seen on the post, I had hurt my back and I literally couldn't sit for extended amounts of times, let alone stand. So I'm wearing a brace thing around at my midsection at the moment, which allows me to stand for a bit. So I do have a standing desk, so I am trying to, get an episode together. It might be a little shorter than usual, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, we've got multiple civil wars that we're engaged with. One of the big problems that we're having really is the civilian economy. We need to get off that. So looking at we are doing the modernization of the Trans-Siberian Railway for the construction research bonus, because that because we have 2 research slots freeing up, and that might allow us to hop into construction 3 and maybe concentrate at 3 ahead of time, and to just boost these things. Although it's a construction one, so it's probably just I'll just spend it on construction 3. And we'll see what we do with the other one. Anyway, because that's actually industry, not construction. All right, so that's valuable. But after that, we do have to get these 3 done. That's 105 days, all in all. we still have 250 days. So we've still got a little bit of air. So I'm thinking after that to throw in potentially the Imperial Advisory Council. That gives us a bit of war support. We do need 15% to get off the civilian economy, but it's both the German economic influence and the abysmal imperial popularity. The influence is not something we can do an awful lot about very quickly. The imperial popularity, however, is one that we can do in a 42-day focus. However, we do need to get down here towards ending the Vilnius agreements, but that sort of takes 70 days as well. So lots of things that we need to do. And in the meantime, we need to do with the civil war situation. So down in Spain, the northern lines are actually not looking good. Zaragoza, if we're looking at the supply lines here, and there we go. Zaragoza is about to fall, and that means that the supply hub in Aragon is going to be disconnected as well, which means we are going to get pushed back towards the coast. Zaragoza is a very, very central part, because otherwise we're relying on Valencia and Barcelona to make this happen. However, we are trying as rapidly as we can to sort out the southern part here of Spain, and for that we are actually sending some tanks back here. And I don't think we can push through the Germans there, but we might be able to clear out the coastline towards Malaga. And if the French could get off. Could stop eating baguette and actually, make themselves useful, like join the assaults here together with all the other foreign troops that are sitting there debating, then we would actually be getting somewhere. Air situation, not great. We're still losing fighters, but we are now finally starting to actually shoot back, because we are starting to get the I-180s into the zone. However, I think the air wings, the fighter wing is not looking good. We've lost a lot of pilots, and we don't really have a method to replenish it. So what I'm going to do for now, we should probably have another. We do have another fighter wing. I might just disband that fighter wing and ship the planes over. These are I-5s. These are even worse. What else do we have? That's a close air support wing. That's I-15s. They're not much better, but I might take this one and disband that air wing, because our production cannot keep up. So just so we can backfill with a few biplanes to try and wrestle the skies from the enemy. All right, so that's the Spanish volunteers. In the Serbian situation, we are trying to make our way over to the town of Niš, and in order to exploit a potential push northwards, cut off some German troops here. We can't do an awful lot in Greece, simply because the Greek are either out of what are they out of? Are they out of materiel, or are they out of? The Greeks still have some manpower available to them, but they are probably completely out of rifles. So there's not an awful lot going to happen here in terms of offensive action in Greece. And in the north, we are trying. If these troops could make their way actually to the front lines, we might have a go towards Constanza and see if we can cut off the northern part of the troops here. But still very much hangs in the balance. And in the Americas, we've got the 60th Mountain Division, which is making its way to New Mexico to take Santa Fe, potentially, encircle some of the American divisions in the south here, and secure the lines, really, as far as we can, until such that we can hold that, because that, I think, is... Yeah, that is one of the vital forward supply positions, this one and that one in the northern mountains. So if we can hold these positions here against the American Union state, which has been taking vast areas northwest of Houston, the syndicates are cleaning up on the East Coast. So I don't think the United States of America will last very much longer, but we'll see if the Pacific states are going to potentially survive with our assistance. So in order to do that, I can't really push forward with the 2nd Infantry very much, because we will be cut off from supply too easily. We do have, yeah, this supply hub should be connected relatively soon, I hope, because they should have a railway line from Sacramento going. So, oh no, actually there's the southern line should work. So this should work out eventually, and then we should have enough supply to also connect Santa Fe. Very flimsy lines, but we'll get to it. How's the air situation actually? I don't think we can actually. Yeah, we can't actually send any air. Not that we have any effective air either. Right, so that's the current situation. A little longer catch up because, well, things have been dormant for a while. All right, so for now we are going to defeat that Austrian assault under Franz Böhme. And our tanks should be able to make relatively short work of them, while we have the other tank division moving in towards Granada. And then we can... what is the terrain? Oh, this is mountainous terrain again. A mountain division in mountainous terrain is less than ideal. So we will wait for the assault to peter out, and then we'll do a joint attack against the mountain division here, trying to clear out the coastline. However, I think that division is probably going to be pushed back before that's happening. Yeah. So for now we'll hold position here, which means there we're still defensive. There we are defensive, which means here is the more interesting one, and there we are defending against a relatively determined attack from across the riverbank. So let's wait for that to conclude, and then we'll push south and see if we can use the momentum to move through towards Constanza. Okay, Bucharest has fallen, which is less than ideal, and the Mountaineers so fall of Bucharest. Romanian ambitions have taken a great blow. 2 decades have passed since Bucharest was occupied during the Weltkrieg, and now it has once again fallen into enemy hands. Despite the Romanian army's spirited defense, yes, they are currently running away to shuffle to different front lines. Spirited defense, Bulgarian troops have forced their way through. The aging forts around the city were reactivated to provide some relief to the capital, but it was no use. And the Armenian and Jewish quarters in the Uranus area still offer a resistance, the latter aided by the presence of the Metropolitanate and Arsenal Hills. Yes, with the major arteries captured, the fall is all but certain. The residents dread what the occupation may bring, with the last one still in living memory despite Bulgarian attempts to assuage local concerns. While Carol II has pledged to fight on, the future of Romania is uncertain. Yes, Romania does not look good. And I think French friendly troops are being pushed back from Galati as well, again, and we're still defending here. Okay, this defense should not be taking that much longer, but how is the north? Zaragoza? Zaragoza is about to fall, I think. So. Let's begin with a potential assault. This is just one province, yeah. Potential assault north, and see if we can make our way through. There. That's 3 divisions, but one of them is relatively exhausted. But we will give it a shot. But I think we're in multiple combat. That's no good. We'll have to defend first. So no getting through there. Okay, we have defended here, so counterattack and see if we can, interestingly enough, we are actually struggling against these divisions. And once again, multiple combat. I think the biggest problem is the enemy aerial superiority. So it does not look like we'll be able to, despite the fact that we're even fighting on open fields, to get through the determined defenders here. But we will see, we will give it a try. And here the counterattack is so vicious that we might not even be able to hold back here. I am actually almost considering to change the... Okay, we're getting counterattacked here as well. they should be able to hold on. But the one problem that I have with the mountain divisions is the lack of firepower. So if they had an artillery battalion, that would significantly increase. I do have the artillery. I just don't want to mess around with the divisions while they are in the middle of combat. We might be losing Thessaloniki here, actually. While I'm quite certain that we can hold, I'm not certain that the Greek can hold. So we do have to pay very close attention to it. Anyway, Spain now has, the troops in Spain are now freed up. So let's see if we can run that assault and see if we can make our way through towards Malaga and maybe cut off the. I don't think we can cut these troops here off in the time being. Okay, that's holding. That's holding for now. I have to keep a very close eye on the Greek. This is still in the balance, and we do have some firepower, but the enemy air is really not helping here. And in the Americas, we are making our way through. So far, the troops appear to be stationary. So let's actually follow the railway lines here. So we'll go this way towards Santa Fe. And okay, friendly troops have reinforced the front lines in the north, South African and West Indian troops. So let's attack Santa Fe from the other side at the same time, given that our front lines are now secured. And we've got the 8th Guards to start the push eastwards once it becomes necessary. Okay, so that looks relatively straightforward here. Which means that the more critical fight is happening there. But we do have, okay, we've got two MIOs that have additional things available to them. We've got Putilovets, the tank designer. We have gone for the additional armor, and that's hardness. So we could get 20% hardness on reliability. But I think I'll just go for the additional armor for now. We're not using that yet, so that's fine. And the artillery designer, that is our first trade point, actually. So what can we do here? That is anti-air, anti-air, anti-air. That's for artillery, and that is for anti-tank. Okay, artillery takes precedence here. So what could we do? We could get 5% reliability, but when complete, will incrementally gain army experience when this MIO is assigned to a manufacturer to a piece of equipment when researching new equipment. Ooh, that would be extremely powerful. The alternative, but they're both doing that. So what's the difference between this one? This one gives defense, this one gives reliability. Okay, that is very powerful, but I think other than that, it's the exact same. I'm going to go with defense here, honestly, and I don't think it needs. Let's have a look. So I don't think it needs to be actually assigned when this MIO is assigned as a manufacturer to a piece of equipment. So is that sufficient for this one? Do we get army exercises from some divine team evaluations from Wrangel? Okay, we'll keep a little bit of an eye and see if we need to actually assign this. I'd rather not spend the 5 army experience right now. Anyway, back to the situation on the ground. Here we are relatively critical. So we will see if our tanks can push through and make their way, but we would need some. Yeah, we're getting some reinforcements from the friendly infantry. But we're struggling to push through here. Why are we struggling so much? It's nighttime. That's why. And the air superiority is really messing with the breakthrough. So the tanks are trying to push, but they're constantly getting intercepted in the air, which is less than ideal. Okay, keeping an eye on the Greek situation. Here we're still defending, so I'm not sure we can actually even go on the offense here. There are three divisions defending, so let's see if we can leave one of them Let's see if we can leave them to it. And we can, but then we're in multiple combat, which means we're splitting our force here, which is less than ideal. Okay, we're gonna have to defend first. One of the divisions there is moving off anyway. Tank division is slowly moving, but I'm not sure we can actually make the breakthrough here. Yeah, if these troops can actually make their way and retake this southern line, that would be ideal. Back to Spain. Spain's going okay. Yes, this division's been pushed back, so we're not encircling anyone. For that, we would have to push north. But we've got 2 German divisions and an Austrian division here. We're not pushing that, and at least the French are now defending with their armored division in the north. Zaragoza is still holding, but not going to be holding for much longer, I think. That'll collapse the northern front, so we do need to get a move on. And in the Americas, we have found resistance. First Idaho militia, but I don't think they will be lasting very long. And we are making our way through towards Santa Fe. So still, the most critical front lines are the ones in here, where we do need to keep an eye on things in general. And yeah, the tanks really struggle, but we do have some reinforcements now. So we really can't use the tanks very effectively due to their... and the Greek are still holding, but I'm not sure for how much longer. Yeah, we can't use the tanks effectively due to the enemy air superiority. So any kind of push here is both costly and ineffective because of that. But well, the tanks are motoring on. We see if we can still manage it. At least they can't. They can't easily damage them. It's the air support that's really causing the trouble here. Okay, Spain ongoing. US. Okay, we have encountered resistance in the south at the railway, defended by the 3rd Kentucky, but we are pushing through the enemy militia. A new wave of Asian settlement. With land reforms largely complete, a new wave of settlement to Central Asia has begun, with Russian settlers taking up arable lands in the Kyrgyz-populated Kazakh, in their own language, provinces of Semirechye and Alashkala. There are already signs of conflict between the settlers and both the local Kazakhs and the Cossack landowners, reminiscent of the same troubles which began the uprising in 1916. The Land Reform Tribunal, manned by Kazakh intelligentsia and the Alash party and wealthier Cossacks, has been doing its best to resolve these disputes as they arise, but the settler numbers are increasing at such pace that they say they will not be able to keep a lid on things for much longer. Let's keep an eye on this. The Kazakh emergency, minus 5% stability. Oh yeah. Republic of Kazakhstan. Okay, it should be this, but it isn't. Probably because all of these are somewhat broken apart. How's our supply situation is not great here. We will need motorized supply for these troops. Let's see if that alleviates things at least somewhat. We have enough trucks, barely, to make this happen, but hopefully that'll help a little bit. So that is going to motorize all these areas there. It doesn't seem to be doing an awful lot to help with the supply woes in the region. Well, we'll see how this all goes. Do we have an airport here in the area? We do have this one in Astrakhan. Do we have anything long range that can actually reach there? I sincerely doubt it. Yeah, this one probably. Tactical bomber wing. We'll move it south, but I doubt that it has much of a range to support these operations. So on the ground it would be, and with low supply at that. Okay, back to where we were. The Greek are holding for now. Still trying to push the Bulgarian troops out here again under enemy air cover. And I am going to try and assault towards Vidin and see if we can, because they're currently engaged. See if we can manage to divert some battalions north. And here we're trying to push through towards Malaga. Still, at least we have cleared up the situation north somewhat, but Zaragoza has fallen, which is a major issue, because now the road's pretty much open towards the coast here. I do not wish to redeploy north, because it is a big waste of time. However, what is the air situation? I think what I'll do instead, we lost the airport, unfortunately. We can redeploy. Yeah, I'm going to redeploy here, and we are going to get the air focused on the Eastern Iberian zone, and we'll just have to fight on the ground as it goes. But that is unfortunately the reality of it. All right, so Spanish War is going on, American War still pushing through. I think we're making quick work of the militias here, and with that we should be able to encircle these two divisions unless they're moving out. And then we can push north towards Denver and secure Denver and Santa Fe. And that'll be the main front line towards the rest of the states there. How's the economic situation between the three? So we've got the combined syndicates, which have somewhere around, let's say, 60 factories. We've got the Union State, which got about 30 odd. Similar here, and still 54 on the main United States. So unfortunately, the syndicates are going to be relatively powerful if they're taking over the East, but the Union State might be able to hold its own there for a bit. So let's see how that goes. Anyway, back to the critical front lines, where we do have to keep an eye on this Greek division, lest we need to evacuate Thessaloniki and retreat from there. And we are actually making headway towards Vidin, so we might be able to take out two Ottoman divisions and one Bulgarian division here, if we can make that happen. All right, 10th International Congress. The 9th Congress of the Third International, held in Paris, dealt with spreading the ideology overseas, supporting socialist movements and strengthening the ties between existing socialist nations, and thanks to the gathering success, the 10th International Congress has been called to be held in London, so I actually moved it over here. Representatives from the entire world were greeted by a British artillery salute, a Scottish bagpipe chorus, and an overall warm reception. As Europe rolls closer and closer to war, military and economic cooperation between the socialists is expected to be the primary topic of discussion, and France and Britain will once again call the shots on the International's policy. Yes, so we're looking at the factions. The Third International is currently Norway, Britain, and France, with potentially Spain joining, if that's the case. So we are surrounding the Reichspakt with a hopefully relatively powerful Third International group. Obviously, we don't want the Americans to fall to that, so we will see how that goes. And back to here, where we will see if we can. Okay, so in the north, we are just about managing to push forward. I am not sure if we can make it through. And if we can break through if we can do the river crossing towards Constanza. It'll depend on where they're falling back to. Greek fight still ongoing, and we might be able to take Vidin. Taking Vidin would be huge if we could manage that. We've got just about enough trucks to deal with the supply situation in Central Asia. We are running a little low on fuel eventually. We might have to look at that situation a little bit closer. Bucharest still fallen, and I think we are at this point. We are not going to break the defense, given the amount of air superiority that they're having. This is really the core of the problem, is the sheer amount of air superiority, and not an awful lot that we can do in return. Okay, quick look at Spain. We are getting counterattacked here, and of course, a German infantry division has joined the defense of Malaga. Okay, do we have another opportunity? We could try to go around the north. This would be better territory as well. So let's stop the assault here, shorten the front lines, and see if we can concentrate our tanks towards the northern flank here, and see if we can push around north, maybe encircle the Germans here. Where does this German division just come from? Zaragoza is still in enemy hands. But so far the lines are somewhat holding. Still haven't broken as badly as I thought they would. Yeah, let's see if we can make something happen there. Back to the Balkans, where I think that tank push towards Constanza is not going to happen. In fact, with the aerial superiority, I don't think anything's going to happen here really, unless we have. Well, we'll see. We'll keep adding. We'll keep going. The tanks of the 4th Mechanized are exhausted. The troops are exhausted. The tanks are in bad shape, but we will see if we can. We will see if we can maintain the momentum there. Vidin attack is ongoing, but difficult due to all kinds of problems. The Austrian Empire has declared war on Hungary. Okay, now here goes the next big one. That, again, is yet another war in Central Europe. Requires careful deliberation. So historically, neither of these are particularly on our list of friendly countries. Hungary is a socially conservative country, so is Austria. And this is an internal affair, really. I don't see much of an advantage of us helping either of them, given the stretched situation inside Central Asia. We could attempt to send volunteers to, say, Hungary and see if they can. Who's the more likely winner? Let's have a look what they've got. 7 to 40 divisions. That means they are outnumbered about 1 in 3. So Hungary is the likely underdog here. We could help the Austrians to put down the uprising in Hungary, potentially gaining an Austrian support against Germany. But do we want to stretch yet more divisions into the area? What do I still have actually anything that we can send over there? I've got 1 mountain division that we could send over, but I don't think it's going to make an awful lot of a difference against that superiority. So we could join on the Austrian side and help them put down the uprising quicker, maybe gain some goodwill with the Austrians. But honestly, I don't think any of that is going to necessarily sway them to our side just because we sent a division over there. We're already engaged in too many theaters at this point, so we'll leave it as is. We will continue our operations here. Okay, the Germans are attacking us, so we may be able to roll down the hills and maybe encircle them, but rolling that would open the lines north towards Cordoba as well. We do need to collapse this flank as quickly as we can. 5 German divisions here at this point. A 2nd Garde Infantry and 4 more German divisions. They are committing very heavily to the Kingdom of Spain, which isn't going to work out, but still, it's quite impressive how heavy of a commitment they're making there. Quick look if there's anything. This is still 106 days off, so we are working on our stability, but not an awful lot. We don't have any infantry equipment right now to support the Pacific states. We are still actually in the business of training up some divisions of our own here to reinforce the widely scattered Russian troops. Okay, eyes on the Balkans. The Greek are falling, and it does not look like they're holding necessarily. Okay, we have not managed to push through. Tank division is in dire need of refuel and repair and some rearmament, so we are going to leave them. We will see if we can manage to push through there, but yeah, many things happening in foreign policies. First up, crisis on the Danube. During the Austro-Hungarian Ausgleich of 1937, the Austrians promised the autonomous states of their empire that the minorities in Transleithania would also receive autonomy. Hungarians, however, were unwilling to oblige with the dismantlement of their state and privileges within the monarchy. Well, it was the dual monarchy, after all. In consequence, the Austrians have announced their intention to both humiliate Hungary and liberate the Slovaks, Transylvanians, and Ruthenes by force, and already skirmishes have begun along the line. Only time will tell the fate of the former dual monarchy. I'm not getting involved here simply because I don't think a single division is going to make a massive difference. How many divisions could we send if we can't even send any. How many could we send here? We could send 2 divisions. I don't think anything's going to make a difference here, but modernization of the Trans-Siberian Railway is done, which is great. This gives me the research bonus and decisions to upgrade the railways. What is this going to do? 3% stability. Actually 3.5% stability, but I need to pay for it with... so each of these gives me stability. And I don't need to do anything about that though, right? In order to hang on, this was for the promise of work, yes. So I just have to complete the focus. I don't have to complete the actual actions. I'm going to hold off on that for now. Because all of these cost civilian factories. Railways be good, and it takes 120 days to complete. But I'm going to hold off on the political power for now. We still have these to do. But I think I am, for now, just going to throw in the Imperial Advisory Council. This would also be good. 8%, 4% war support. This is 5. That gets 9. That gets us to 15. Not sure we can do both. They both take the same time. But this would give me research speed. We need to do this anyway. So I'm almost tempted to do this one instead. 4% war support and 8% stability. That gets us to 40. Whereas this only gives us 5% war support and the it's a stability modifier. So party popularity right now is at 4.2%, so it's going to be minor. Okay. Political advisor cost minus 33% is good as well. But I think we'll do this one instead. Stability plus 8%, war support plus 4%. Yeah, we'll do the rural outreach. We need to do that anyway. It's more beneficial on the short run. We're not going to do these right now. We could throw one in. This would build the northern route. This would be Tver to Ekaterinburg. Irkutsk to Vladivostok's probably more helpful at this point. Let's do one of the. I do need the political power to get off the civilian economy as well. Okay, no, we're banking political power in order to. We're not going to spend it right now in order to eventually get off there. Okay, so the assault from the 4th Mechanized has failed under heavy enemy aerial bombardment. Thessaloniki might fall here, and the assault on the exhausted enemy divisions might be faltering as well. Here we have to. Do we have 3 divisions engaged? Yeah, we should be able to already begin. I don't think we're going to manage to get these encircled, but we'll try. Getting these German divisions here would be massive. We just have to be careful not to get cut off. Okay, let's see if we can. Let's see if we can get. We can make our way towards Malaga. And here we are getting counterattacked, so the assault north is failing. So we'll need to defend again. Thessaloniki is now coming under concentrated assault as well from the troops there. I am not sure Bulgaria is going to be defeated that easily. We are going to have to wait for the 4th Mechanized to refuel and reorganize. And I'm tempted to fall back from Thessaloniki because I don't trust that division to hold because they are so undersupplied. It would have been nice to hold Thessaloniki as a springboard, but I don't think it's defensible on the long run. We are dug in reasonably well here. I've got 10% entrenchment only, but we should have enough army experience to go for. No, we need a. Oh, we don't actually have. We still need 100. We don't have a theorist. Okay. Yeah. I don't trust these to hold. That's my problem, and I can't see how badly it's going. I don't want to be cut off in Thessaloniki, so we are going to fall back from Thessaloniki and reinforce the position. Reinforce the position here, because we might end up losing our mountain division otherwise. Here we're defending in Spain. We are making our way through against the Spanish, and in the States we have managed to. I think we're close to. We're close to breaking through in New Mexico, which means we can already begin operations to assault the militia in the mountains. We are moving north towards Santa Fe, and then we'll just keep moving north towards Denver, where the supply. There's a supply up south of Denver. Okay, before the Union gets there. To be honest, let's see that we can secure the line. So that's the only operation that's currently going reasonably well. Everything else is a little bit. Everything else is completely on the defensive. It'll take us a while to fall back from Thessaloniki. We could have held Thessaloniki without a problem. Being cut off is the issue. Okay. Let's see if we can. Yeah, we'll hold here. Well, we'll give up Thessaloniki because I don't want to get cut off by accident. And armored division still not in a great shape. The advantage of sending troops to Hungary, however, would be that we still gain some army experience. So maybe, actually, in fact, talking about army experience, it doesn't look like we're getting that from the MIO. So we might have to upgrade the artillery in order to get the MIO to apply. And we haven't actually applied that. So it's Obukov. It costs unfortunately 5, but we'll do it, and then we'll replace the artillery, hopefully to get the army experience out of that. All right. Convert equipment. We've got enough laying around, and we are. Let's see if that gets us the army experience that we are supposed to be getting. Details. It says currently gaining army experience. Okay, now it's actually showing. Yeah. All right, so we should be getting. It doesn't show up here, which is weird, but we'll see. Spain is probably the more critical front line right now. The Germans are actually getting pushed back here in the south. Let's see if we can manage to get around them before that happens. Here we are. Yeah, they have retaken Thessaloniki, and the Greeks are attacking. Okay, Greece is trying to lose this war rapidly. We have not managed to encircle the Ottomans, unfortunately. And the tank division is almost back up to strength, so we could have a second go at. We still need full organization before we make another attempt. And in the States, we have. We've almost broken through, which means that the enemy troops here are. Are cut off from supply as well. Militia has been brought in, first Idaho militia, but we should be getting some supply out of Santa Fe relatively soon. And with that, we should be able to collapse this cauldron here without too much trouble, and then secure the lines. Okay, Spain. We're now fighting, unfortunately, the German division here. So let's bring in, let's stop the attack. The Germans are retreating. Let's begin the attack, and we'll bring in additional tank divisions. We have potentially an opportunity to push north towards Cordoba as well. It is risky though, with additional divisions here. And we would have to, what's the supply lines here? Yeah, we don't hold the supply lines, so Cordoba wouldn't be getting any supply. We do need to secure the south first. Okay, south gets secured first. How's the Zaragoza breakthrough looking? They're trying to retake Zaragoza, to their credit actually. But north is a bit faltering here. And we'll see what we can get done. Tanks are 28, almost there. And the defense here is holding. And this division actually needs a very ambitious front line. The same with this one, actually. We'll see if we can push towards Sofia, but I doubt it. Tanks have their offensive lines. We might be able to. We might actually be able to cut instead of going through that entrenched divisions. We might be able to cut through the Turks here. It is across the river though, which is less than ideal. But if we can cut through the Turks and take Constanza on the other way, we would still be able to cut them off. So let's see. Let's see if we can make any difference here. I doubt it, but we'll try to force the river crossing. And the Xinjiang clique has capitulated. So things are, yeah, the Kremul Khanate is victorious, and that might be something we need to deal with in the future. For now, yeah, we have enemy troops here on the lines. At least we have now supply on the lines as well, with the introduction of trucks. But yeah, I think the Turks just got reinforced, so that is not going to happen. Yeah, the Turks just got reinforced. We'll try to push south again and see if we can, given that they're currently engaged, and see if we can break through there. Spain, we are close to taking Malaga. Okay, we're taking Malaga, and we will be. Yeah, we need to take Malaga. I'm thinking of engaging the Germans out in the open fields here and push towards Cordoba. Let's see if that works. Nobody in the air. Okay, we have taken Malaga, which means we can now assist with taking out that division there. The French have sent their tanks in as well. And more trouble in Japan. Okay. The rising sun. The situation in Japan has been ever critical since the Tsingtao Accord, muddled by numerous economic crises and unrest. The ineffective response to the German intervention in China led to the collapse of the autocratic Tanaka regime. However, the Empire of the Rising Sun managed to bounce back as a regional power limited to the reaches of East Asia. Today, Japanese leadership has announced a new plan to seize their spot amongst the great powers, by force if deemed necessary. This news has already begun to reach Berlin, with the Kaiser and the Chancellery having yet to respond to this barefaced threat over their colonial holdings. That increases world tension, but Japan is, well, if they take on the Germans and the Reichspakt and are trying to re-establish their position in China, as long as we're clear on who owns Vladivostok, I don't actually have too much of a problem with that. So we will see. We will see how that ends up going. But can we break here? Anything? No. We might be able to break through towards Sofia. They're actually quite exhausted. Let's see. Seeing if we can break through towards Sofia, take the enemy capital out of Serbia. Spain is the more interesting one right now. We are now assaulting the Germans and a Spanish defending division, which I think is going to be trouble, but it would be a potential to break through north towards Cordoba. If we can get these 4 German divisions out of the picture, that would be massive. Then we could we could roll over the rest of Spain pretty quickly. All right, Americas, we are still pushing north, but I think we need to. Okay, we will stand in Santa Fe for now and defend here while we are dealing with the troops in the south. I think they may have broken out actually, which is less than ideal. May have to. I'm not sure we can hold these positions here. If they could reinforce, there are 4 South African infantry divisions standing around in the north, not doing anything. So if they could, you know, make themselves useful, that would be grand. All right. That said, situation in Spain working out. I do have to keep a bit of an eye here on the Americas, I think, at this point. And yeah, we are getting counterattacked in Santa Fe. Unfortunately, the second guards have been pushed back. And okay, now the Allied troops are joining. Good. So if that's the case, we can return them north once they're done. We do need to get the 60th guards to dig in Santa Fe for now, and we're going to get the second guards back north to hold the lines. They have joined, and we are wiping out the enemy troops here quite successfully. Okay, Spain. Okay, attack north is faltering against German reinforcements, so we'll instead secure the front, try to secure the front lines northwards, and just widen the front here. And while we are done, okay, this has been destroyed, so onto Gibraltar. We'll see if there's an opportunity to catch these German divisions, but they actually have been pushed back from the line, so we'll have to see how that goes. Okay, here we are trying to use a breach in the enemy lines to push towards Sofia, which is a very ambitious undertaking. Bucharest has been retaken, but is under pressure, and we are trying to, with some support from friendly cavalry, trying to once again secure the lines towards Constanza and make a breakthrough there. And that Hungary is looking bleak at all points. We might send some troops in just to gain the experience, to be honest. We probably have some infantry somewhere that I can use. Do we have some guards infantry? Yes, we do have some guards infantry. Let's get 2, these are relatively new. Let's get 2 relatively new guard infantry and send them to Hungary to assist, just to gain some experience. All right, 3 guards divisions on their way to Budapest. We have no hope of holding Hungary. It's more about gathering experience in the field at this point. Spain, we are still trying to stretch the lines here towards Gibraltar. I'm not sure how long. Let's see how long they're actually still holding. I was really hoping that we could. Kingdom of Spain, 70%. Okay. So they are still holding on, but if we can take Sevilla, then that would probably it. Actually, I was just hoping that we could catch the German divisions in the meantime. That would have been grand. Here we are making progress, and in the States we are trying to. Okay. Yep, the volunteers will stand down. Hungary has refused our assistance. All right then. In that case, we'll ask the Austrians. We'll see if we'll relabel that as the Vienna volunteers and see if Austria wants our assistance. If Hungary believes that we're only allowed 2 to send to Austria, all right. In that case, we'll send 1 of them back to the regular troops, and we'll send these 2. We'll see if the Austrians want our assistance. Again, this is more like for military observer and field training than an actual making a difference here. But we will see how that goes. I think this is too ambitious, to be honest. But we will see if we can make our way forward there. Spain more critical right now, and obviously United States. I think, yeah, this, yes, the Austrians Austrians agreed to get some assistance from us. I am all for that. So we will send the second guards back to their original position once they've reached Santa Fe. Friendly troops are now flooding in as well. So I think we are getting to the point where we can start expanding our lines here quite effectively. Okay, and they actually have reinforced, so no problem. We're making progress in Spain in the meantime. With the fall of Gibraltar, reports from Gibraltar confirm that the fortress has been captured by anarchist troops. Well, Russian troops really masquerading as anarchists. After rapid landings and skirmishes along the coast, with fighting moving towards the Rock of Gibraltar itself, Spanish forces put up stiff resistance, hoping to delay the anarchist invaders for as long as possible, but were eventually beaten back. While the capture of Gibraltar itself was swift, skirmishes in the tunnels running through the rock lasted until late in the evening, until the encircled and desperate Spanish garrison announced its formal surrender. All right, that's that. And with everything engaged, I think I will risk moving north onto Sevilla and see if we can collapse the southern front in our advantage. So everything here on the lines is being engaged. And I think we may have, we might have another opportunity at some point to push towards Cordoba, but right now I'm just keeping these divisions pinned down. Elections in the Netherlands. The Netherlands are traditionally been one of the more politically stable nations in Europe, and the Dutch people have for years been entrenched in their own institutional pillars, which have tended to undermine radical tendencies. Due to the economic chaos caused by the Netherlands' close ties to Germany and Middle Europa and the rise of the far-left Red Front and nationalist VNH, the country's political situation is more tense than it has been in many years. Interesting. The coalition of conservatives and confessional parties that made up the CNA have once again won the election, albeit with a heavily diminished majority. Seeing the logic in taking advantage of the nationalist VNH's hatred for the left and their Landwehr paramilitaries, the CNA has hitched its wagon onto the far right. Elections are good, but it's interesting to see. So the Netherlands have joined the Reichspakt, but it looks like that there are relatively strong left-wing factions as well. The CNA still holds 51% though, so I don't see anything breaking out there anytime soon. But it's good to keep an eye on these things. Okay, press censorship has actually completed, which means we've got 150 days on this, and that has reduced the anger somewhat. So neither of these is still ongoing. Why are we on unstable democracy? Didn't we have that resolved already? I thought this was. We might have to do one of these. I think one of these gave improved something down here improved. Oh yeah, there, strengthening democracy. Yeah, so we've got something to deal with that. I just hadn't seen it, so maybe it popped up and I hadn't paid attention to it. All right, so these the troops are standing ready here if necessary. Yeah, that decision. We're not going to do another press censorship campaign for now. Although it does increase the stability, but I do want to bank some political power now in case we can get the war support up. Because we're at 11% already, and this would give us 4%. So that should be enough for 15 to get us out of the civilian economy, and that is really the primary target right now to make that happen. Ambitious push towards Sofia, yeah, it's not really going to work, I think, is it? But we may be able to make something happen with the tanks here. Okay, do have to keep an eye on the Spanish front, such that we don't lose our tanks here. But if we can take Sevilla and then just manage to encircle the last remaining defenders here, it would be, the tanks are at this point unopposed. So I think we have now broken through the front lines, and we are absolutely reducing. Okay, we're going to have to defend here. We're absolutely reducing their positions, and we can run wild. Let's see. Yeah, they have moved their capital to Cordoba, So the government has once again escaped, but I think we are now at the point where we can probably collapse the country relatively quickly. I would just have liked to catch these German divisions. All right, let's finish off the divisions here that are encircled here. And yeah, the Kingdom of Spain was annexed. They have capitulated after all. Spanish government has gone into exile, and that was not a good deal. I think we could have gotten a much better deal out of this. So now is the question of how much territory can we secure, because they have broken through north of Zaragoza as well. How much territory can we secure against the northern states? So right now, I think the word of the day is speed, and we will see if we can get our elite tank divisions into the north. Let's see where the supply positions are here. So there's actually not an awful lot in the north. I would love to push all the way up to Madrid, but oh boy, have we lost a lot of territory that we actually held. So I don't think they have the anarchists have done a particularly good deal here. So let's see if we can improve our positions. So the first, we're actually holding some pockets here still. These need to be reconnected. That's the French tanks. If we can't rescue those, we're going to move on to Cordoba for starters. And we are holding the territory here, so we are reconnecting them, and then we move to Cordoba, try to reconnect the friendly troops in the north, and see if we can secure the lines all the way up north towards Madrid. So here we have to move quickly, but that's what armored vehicles are for. That's the Spanish front. In the States, we are. I think I'm just going to support this from here. The Mountaineers can actually move and secure the lines east of Santa Fe, and then we can push further north from there. In the south, we could still try to take El Paso. That would actually be not a bad move. But I'm more concerned with the Denver line in the north, so we can start rolling up the whole central territory here. So with that said, I think that is way too ambitious. So we'll continue the push, and we might still be able to break through towards Constanza. But it's Spain is what needs attention right now, while everybody finds their new positions in the aftermath. Oh, that's where this came from. Waning faith in democracy. The initial excitement after the restoration of the constitution has waned. Initial hopes were high, but the promises made were never delivered. To many, it was like a return to business as usual. To politicians, only enriching themselves and not really caring for the people. As the apathy sets deeper, radical movements gather strength, and popular support for the government wanes. Great. Honestly, I am not entirely certain what it is that I could have done to prevent this, but we have a lot of we have a lot of things that we're trying to do here, but not an awful lot that can be done. Yeah, that's where the unstable democracy comes from again. Maybe we do need to run. We do need to run some of these in order to the self-defense of democracy would be which would be I think where we need to go. So we have yet another problem. We've got the problem of the activity of the Union to revive the Republic, and we have a general discontentment with how we are going about the democratic process here. Many a problem, and we're fighting in 15 different civil wars. But such is the reality on the ground. And I think I'll leave the episode here. Sorry if it's a little bit shorter, but my back is starting to ache again. So in the next episode, we will see how this all continues, American Civil War is going reasonably well so far. Spanish Civil War, the anarchists have made massive concessions to the Carlists, unnecessarily so in my opinion. The Balkan Wars are raging on. We're sending some support to the Austrians in order to put down the Hungarian, really more in order to give our troops some field experience. We have potential unrest brewing here as well. And the situation at home is at knife's edge.